Gentrification is something all cities tried to actively seek in the past, but now people from their homes are starting to fight back. However, it may already be too late for a neighborhood like Pilsen, which could lose its blue-collar identity in the next decade. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Hami Arain. The transition moving to DePaul from Europe was challenging for Max and Philip, but it was their love for soccer that brought them to the United States. It's one of the reasons why it's known as the beautiful game. It's not just social injustice that jump-started the Black Lives Movement, but it also provides fresh legs to the black boomers who fought for their equality. Some say the movement is propaganda, while others believe that it's become the staple of civil rights movement in the 21st century.
Hami Arain is here now with Good Day DePaul Sports. So Hami, some big-time recognition for a DePaul soccer player.
That's right, Celia. A big honor for DePaul soccer player Abby Reed. Reed was named ESPN's Women's National Player of the Week. This after she had a goal and 2 assists against Creighton and 2 goals and an assist against Seton Hall. Reed ranks 12th nationally in total points. And more good news for the Lady Blue Demons. Defender Lucy Edwards was named the Big East Defensive Player of the Week. Now to the men's soccer team. They were at home for a Big East rivalry game against Seton Hall, and well, things definitely got a little rough. It was a beautiful day for soccer as the Blue Demons took on the Seton Hall Pirates. DePaul looking for their first Big East victory at home. It was a defensive battle at the start as Seton Hall's Mario Prada brings the ball up but has it stolen from behind by DePaul's Max DeBraunia. Then, in the 18th minute, off a free kick by DePaul's Zach El Shafai, check out this cross from John Fratang to set up an Eric Rodriguez goal. But the lead wouldn't last long as a DePaul foul in the box leads to a penalty shot for the Pirates' Andres Arcilla. And he delivers for his 6th goal of the season, tying it up 1-1 at the half. Second half, not much offense, but late in the game, Seton Hall's Prada almost scores off a volley to himself. It would have been a spectacular goal, but the game remains tied. Finally, in the 89th minute, DePaul's Hans Voosling with the shot. It's saved by Quinton Lowe, but Rodriguez is there for the rebound and his team-leading 6th goal of the season. But there was still more to come, and it wasn't real pretty. As the final seconds clicked off, some words between DePaul's Max DeBraunia and the Pirates' Danny Bartok, the two get tangled up and their heads seem to collide. The benches then clear on both sides, and Bartok ended up getting a red card, and he's suspended for Seton Hall's next game. DePaul is awarded the ball and holds on for the 2-1 victory. It was the Blue Demons' first win in the conference. DePaul men's basketball season will soon be ending, and it's the first season they played at the new Wintrust Arena, an arena many thought would help the basketball program. But as I found out, attendance remains the major issue. It's been 4 months since DePaul began playing its men's basketball games at Wintrust Arena in the South Loop. Most fans like the new arena, but would like to see better results on the court.
It's definitely a nicer venue. I mean, the venue is beautiful. Sightlines are better. The seats are fantastic. Just the amenities are great. But you know, the team is still struggling, and attendance and really fan interaction, I think, is still what it was a couple of years ago.
Many hoped the attendance would go up at Wintrust compared to Allstate Arena in Rosemont, where the team had played since 1980. But that has not significantly happened. For the entire season so far, attendance at Wintrust Arena has averaged 6,025 people per game, compared to 5,642 last year at Allstate. And since the beginning of January, when students came back from the holiday break and the games were all against Big East opponents, attendance has averaged 5,694 for 7 Big East games at Wintrust, compared to an average attendance of 6,182 for the 9 Big East games played after the break last season at Allstate Arena. DePaul's athletic director, Jean Lenti Ponsetto, says the new arena is more convenient for students.
Now, we kept hearing over and over again from students is that, with our jobs and with classes and, all the things that DePaul students have going on, they were really interested in someplace they could get to quickly by public transportation. And so, short of not being able to put something right in the center of campus, this turned out to be a great option, and certainly really close for our midweek games for our downtown students who are at our Loop campus. But our Lincoln Park students ride the L, and we provide bus transportation for them back. So, there's been a lot of positives, but I don't want to at the same time, say that we didn't have a great run at the Allstate Arena, because they were a terrific partner when we were out at the Allstate.
With the team still playing below 500 basketball, the fans are just not turning out in big numbers, but Ponsetto feels the future is bright.
I think that in relatively short order, I think it's going to have a big impact.
The hope for many is that the new arena will eventually attract the kind of players who will improve the team, and with it, attract more fans. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Hami Arain. It's the ultimate grassroots campaign. Bushra Amawala is only 20 and is already seeking political office. The DePaul sophomore is running for commissioner of Cook County's 13th district with the election on March 20th. Amawala's parents are immigrants from Pakistan, and she's the first person from her family born in the United States.
I mean, hearing people say, like, you're allowed to run for president, like, if you ever so choose, it's something like the idea was always very compelling and interesting, but I never thought I would throw my hat into the race and actually run for office.
Amawala is on the ballot against Larry Suffredin, the current commissioner of District 13. Suffredin has been in office for 16 years and released a statement calling Amawala's campaign, quote, impressive. Amawala sticks close to her Muslim roots.
So I wanted to sort of be like this loud person and a leader, and be like, these attributes that I now have, I want people to subconsciously associate that with my Muslim identity. And that happened, but throughout my journey I realized that I was almost tokenizing myself.
In January 2018, she became the first DePaul student and Muslim in a hijab to appear on the cover of Time magazine, a cover she shared with many other women who say they were inspired to run for office by the first Women's March. Dr. Neela Hoffman was one of Amawala's first professors at DePaul and calls Bushra a role model, but not just for Muslims.
She started out being a role model specifically for Muslim women, specifically for girls, young women who chose or are proud wearing a hijab, a headscarf. But extends beyond Muslim women. It extends to women of color, people of color.
Hoffman says that even if she doesn't win the election, her campaign should be deemed a success.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know anyone, who's running for office at such a young age and with such a strong platform.
Like most college students, Amawala believes in government transparency and social justice. She says her motivation to run for commissioner came in November 2016 when President Trump was elected into office. At that point, she felt anything was possible. However, the campaign does come with pressure, even from her own community.
I try to speak behalf on all of my constituents to the best of my ability, but having someone come up to me and be like, oh, so what's it like, for that Muslim person over there? Like, can you speak on their behalf? That makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to mute their voice and use my own to speak on behalf of them, if that makes sense. So that's almost the pressure that I've received. And with that being said, I've gotten a bit of pushback from members of my own community saying that you don't wear the hijab properly, or maybe your clothing isn't as appropriate, and maybe you're not representing yourself as the best possible Muslim that you can be. So it's a combination of all of that. So yeah, I see it in many ways, and I also think it's because I am a woman.
Only 3 women are currently on the Cook County Board of Commissioners, and it may seem like a long shot for a DePaul sophomore to be elected into a district that doesn't represent DePaul, but Amawala has always set big goals, and this is just the latest. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Hami Arain. A proposed law in Illinois aims at dealing with one of the biggest problems in sports, head injuries. State Representative Carol Senti of suburban Vernon Hills introduced the Durson Act, which would prevent children under 12 from playing tackle football. The act is named after former Chicago Bears safety Dave Durson, who took his own life. Durson's brain was later found to have CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a condition sometimes found in football players who've suffered many hits to the head. DePaul freshman Charlie Bevins was a high school quarterback, but in the last game of his season, he found himself playing safety and suffered a mild concussion.
I was playing safety, and I don't usually play safety. I didn't usually play safety, and then I was coming down to make a play, and I just didn't have good technique. Kind of led with my helmet, and then was kind of dizzy afterwards.
So what was that whole process like when you got the concussion?
I wasn't totally aware of what was going on at the time. It's not like I was unconscious or anything, but there was a ringing in my ear, and they just pulled me to the sidelines and sat me down and put a towel over my head because I didn't like the lights.
Dorothy Kozlowski, a neuroscience professor at DePaul, focuses on traumatic brain injuries. She believes it's wise to keep children under 12 from playing tackle football.
And so really what you're looking at are parents having to make a decision about whether they want to expose their children to multiple hits in the head during a very important developmental stage. And you also have to look at, are there ways to control what these kids do in practice and in games to help minimize the numerous hits to the head?
Kozlowski wrote an article in 2013 titled, "Should I Let My Son Play Football?"
We didn't know that so many hits to the head would result in some of these really dramatic neurodegenerative types of diseases. We didn't really know or understand the link between numerous hits to the head and things like anxiety and depression and violence and erratic behavior. But when inklings of it were there, and now that we know for sure that there are links, you can't say that 100% football is the cause of this, but you can say that numerous hits to the head are a cause of this particular disease.
DePaul sophomore Garrett Neal played tackle football from 8th grade through high school.
You have to learn how to play. And you have to learn how to tackle, and you have to learn how to protect yourself. And if you don't know how to do those things, then that's only going to lead to more injuries.
Bevins feels you should start young to know the fundamentals of the game and what comes next in higher levels of football.
If you're going to let your kid play, I think it's better to let your kid play at a younger age so he can figure out what it's like to be hit by people around his age. That way when he gets to high school, he's ready for what could be coming to him.
But Kozlowski believes even playing one season of football can cause serious damage.
And if you are playing tackle football, studies have shown that you have multiple hits to the head through practice in tackle football and through games. And that collectively, these are just as bad, if not more, than what the players get in the NFL.
This past NFL season saw the most concussions in the league's history, but it's all those hits in the earlier level of football that have many experts concerned for the lives of the young people playing this game. For Good Day DePaul, I'm Hami Arain.